According to some studies, it takes 21 days to form a new habit, but I have learned that that's certainly not the case for me. For the past 10 years, I've played around with forming habits to create a machine-like daily routine that will help change my life, but it hasn't really worked that well. If you're like me and you also struggle with forming new and consistent habits, you might find this different way of looking at your so-called habits interesting. I think my problem with habits is the way that I've been perceiving them and what I have expected to get out of them. I've bought into the narrative that you can do something for X amount of days and after that it will become easy and autonomous, like, well, a habit. But now I'm starting to think that that's not possible. 1st of July 2018, I promised myself that I would work out every single day for 365 days. I expected that if I can get through that, it surely must become a habitual part of my life. And it could not be a home workout, it needed to be a decent workout at the gym or setting aside time to go out and run. My mind was completely set on completing this no matter what, and I thought that this is for sure gonna make working out a habit. There were days that were difficult and were days that I didn't plan out the day too well and the motivation to work out was non-existent. But I also thought that these difficult days is going to make it likely for this habit to stick. I wrote down every single session in a document and I went through the year without missing one day. So, did it become a habit? Not even close. It still requires a lot of effort to get them done and it's nothing automatic about them. So in some ways it was a failure, but of course it was valuable in other ways, but that's for a different video. Yeah, so I apparently can do something consistently for a long while, but not really feel like it's a habit. So the problem must be my perspective. So now to the point of this video. A more realistic way for me to look at habits, and a word that comes to mind when I hear other people talk about their habits is commitment. If I look at the year of daily workouts with commitments being the goal, then that was a big success. In the context of self-improvement and forming daily beneficial habits, replacing habits with commitments just seemed to make more sense to me. And based on my history with habits, it doesn't really seem realistic that I'm ever going to become a person who can just seemingly sail through the day on a boat of habits like it looks like some people can. So let's say I misunderstood the whole world. No, word. I looked up the definition and according to Merriam-Webster, habits are a settled tendency or a usual manner of behavior or an acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely involuntary. And based on that definition, there is not many things that I can consider a truly involuntary habit. Or do you have any habits that you've been able to form? I'd like to know, because maybe I'm just being too narrow-minded here. And I'm not talking about those habits that are a response to something. You know, you wear clothes because it's cold and it's weird to walk around naked. Or pleasure, like you buy popcorn at the cinema. That's a habit, but that's pleasurely habit. I think brushing my teeth is only the habit that I can think about that I have truly ingrained into my behavior. That is not necessary, because I can live without it. It's not from pleasure or a response to anything, it's just a habit. So what if this is true, that chasing habits is just useless? How can instead commitments help us create a machine-like daily routine that will help change our lives? Well, I perceive habits as sort of a shortcut. Take the example, if you told me you run every day in the morning as you wake up, I would think, well, that's impressive, you're a warrior. But if you told me that you were in the habit of working out every day as you wake up, I would think that, okay, so that happens. Lucky you, that sounds very nice. It's just not as impressive. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it just sounds more effortless. But commitments, however, you don't expect them to be easy, and they're not involuntary or automatic. It's just like working out every day. Some days are going to be easy, some days are going to be more tough, but you just accept that that's the fact. So maybe just accepting that it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be a true habit like brushing your teeth. You're always going to have to fight through the resistance in order to be consistent. Maybe that's it. And that's not as easy as I would hope, but it's certainly a lot more doable and realistic, at least for me. I don't know, what do you think? That's a beautiful and helpful ending. Habits do not work, and it's always going to be difficult. If you're not tired of watching this face on your screen, yeah, well, can help you with that. There. But if you're not tired, then you can watch one of these videos right here. Hello? Still here?